Hello, everybody. Happy July. Welcome back to Esoteric Atlanta. Of course, my name is Brice, and I'm joined here with my Canadian sister, Sarah. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Well, it's July 1. We're airing this on July 1, so this is Canada Day, isn't it?
It is. Oh, I didn't wear red. Oh, well, that's okay. I'm
That's
wearing
okay.
purple.
That's okay.
That's okay. We can forgive
It's still
ourselves.
you can
Yes,
carry it in your heart. Yeah, so happy Canada
absolutely.
Day to all of our Canadian patriots who are watching right now. I know we've got quite a few. And of course, for the Americans coming up, we have the 4th of July, which if you missed our last episode, we did speak about the astrology around July
Right.
1st and the 4th and why we have particular holidays allegedly on this time. So I will put that down in the description box. We won't beat a dead horse and rehash it again, but if you go back and watch that episode, we actually do talk about that. So today,
That was interesting. Haven't heard
I
that one
know,
before.
isn't that is so these random tidbits of trivia you learn along the way.
Oh,
You're like, I'm going to store that in my brain because I think that's going to be we're going to need that
but
later
that's
on
the
in
way
life.
it is. That's exactly what's happening though. We are learning new things and we're questioning things and we're actually like taking a really like deep dive and second look at everything that we've been taught.
Yep.
We have to at this point with open minds, of course, and when grounded and being grounded, but we need to question things and open minds. That's the only way that we can really move forward, I think. And that's my own opinion.
Absolutely. I totally, and if you get, for me, when you get too caught up into it, sometimes it can make you go a little bit woo woo, a little crazy,
Mm-hmm.
a little wackadoo. So if you're ever feeling that way, guys, just take some time out and just go take a walk. Go play with your dog or your kids, and
Yep.
just remember us, as Alan Watts said when somebody asked him what's the point of life. He said the point of life was to be alive.
Yes.
And so I know a lot of people, because of the revelations about July 1 through July 4th, a lot of people are going to reject celebrating. But I say go ahead and celebrate because it's about your intention.
Absolutely.
Don't let these
Absolutely.
people, as somebody told my mom when my mom was getting a divorce from my dad, somebody told my mom, do not let Lee Watson steal your joy. And I'm going to say that to all of our viewers. Do not let this group of dumbass psychopaths, well, they're not dumb. Well, these psychopaths, don't let these
Well,
psychopaths steal your joy, right?
exactly.
The darkness can't create
Go.
anything. They just steal and invert. So take it back. Claim it back. Claim July 1, claim July 4th back as ours.
Absolutely. We don't need to look into and especially for Canada, we've talked about that before about what really went on. And I won't even say any words, but many years ago. And, we don't need to look into the politics of what had happened, but in the legality of this country being a country, but just celebrate July 1st and July 4th. And I know I certainly will. I'm not
Yeah.
going to not enjoy fireworks. I'm not going to not enjoy the flag waving and the smiles and the fun and the events happening because that's, as you just said, that's the joy of being alive. You have to
Yeah.
celebrate.
And you should be proud of your country, regardless of whether we're not quite sure about the history, regardless of whether we're actually Tartarians or American. Still
Exactly.
be proud of your country, and be proud of your fellow
Exactly.
countrymen, and so absolutely go have your cookouts and go laugh and drink your beers and watch your fireworks and just because to love another person is to see the face of God. So wherever there's love and laughter, God is present. Don't make your life. That's why I always say when people like won't celebrate Christmas now or won't, I'm like, no, go take this back. Take that joy back. Don't let them steal your joy. Don't let them steal the life out of your life because you only have, as far as in this carnation, you only have this life. Next carnation, new body, new problems. But this is a time to celebrate this incarnation. And so go do that. Be with your friends and family. And I really hope that everybody watching is just has a just super wonderful
Yes,
Canada Day and super wonderful Independence Day and just really enjoy the beautiful fireworks. Enjoy it. Like make memories.
exactly. Have fun. And for Christmas, it doesn't negate like all of our July 1st, all of our July 4th, all of the holidays. It doesn't negate like all of your beautiful memories that we have had over the years. It doesn't be. They should never be negated just because we learn truth or nefarious stuff. Just still enjoy
Yeah.
the memories.
I
Don't let them tarnish that.
And I've said this because when we
Fun.
first start waking up, we
Live your
learned
life.
about all these yeah, she's gonna go ahead and boil the water, guys, because this is gonna be a July reading, tea leaf reading. But I will give this example while she's setting up over there, you guys. When you first start learning all these inconvenient truths and you learn about a lot of the musicians, for example, there was a period of time when I first started waking up where I wouldn't listen to certain bands. And then I kind of rewired my thought process because I have a lot of good memories of certain my music was big in my house growing up. My parents are products of the 70s. So we listened to the Rolling Stones all the time. We listened to Led Zeppelin all the time. And regardless of whether these musicians are or aren't good or bad, really is irrelevant because my memories, I can't take away those
Mhm.
memories that I had as a child singing and dancing in our living room with my parents. I laugh and say I used to think that Hotel California, I used to think my dad wrote that song because he would play it on the guitar all the time. And it wasn't until I was like in middle school that I realized that was the Eagles. So, and I've seen the Rolling Stones in concert. I've seen all these big shows in concert, and I've had so much fun. And that's my experience. It doesn't negate if they're good or bad, but that is my life and my experience. And there was joy and love and laughter in those experiences. And so, do not
Absolutely.
let other people take your joy. Don't do that. Live your life. If you're a good person, you're doing good things, no amount of hocus pocus or whatever is gonna derail you from that. So,
No,
and of course,
no.
you guys, as Sarah is setting up too for our July tea leaf reading, we do have two winners of our giveaway that are going to be announced at the end of this episode. So I'm so excited to announce our winner. So you gotta hang tight, guys. You
Wait till the end.
wait till the end. You gotta watch till the end.
Don't go anywhere. Okay, just checking here. Okay, that's good. Okay, almost ready here. Flip it over. And let's see what's in store for the month of July. For entertainment purposes only, of course. Take what you will, leave what you don't. This is a general reading. Not everything will apply to everyone, and that's not the intention. It's just to see whatever the universe would like us to know for the month of July.
And I forgot to ask you, Sarah, are we doing 30 minutes?
Whatever you'd like to do.
Let's do 30 minutes. I'll tell you in the 15-minute mark.
Sounds good to me.
All right, perfect.
Okay, I am just letting it drip dry just for a few seconds. Probably do that over the plate. Okay. Oh, another busy month. I always like to try and give myself a quick sneak peek at the leaves right before I start reading them, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's busy. Okay. Sorry, there's quite a bit of liquid still coming out. It'll take another minute.
We like busy. Busy is good.
Busy. That's what I always say. I always like to ask cashiers wherever I go, oh, how's today? Oh, it's busy. I'm like, well, that's okay. Busy, that's good. Busy's good.
Good.
The things are going well. There's energy moving. Okay. Ready? Those are the leaves for July. Again, pretty busy. I haven't looked in too much detail. And I can't even see what's on the screen because I'm very short-sighted and everything's blurry past here. So I can't even really see any details. But those are the leaves.
It's perfect.
Okay. All right. I'm going to turn my ring light up a little bit. If it flickers, it's just simply because the ring light's been flickering lately. So apologies if it does flicker away in the background. Okay,
Actually,
ready?
that reminds me, before you guys get started, if you guys hear banging, actually, I'm going to mute myself because if you guys hear banging in the background, that's the construction, but I'm just going to go ahead and mute myself while you're doing this.
I think I'm going to turn the ring light down just by one because it's flickering just a little bit. Hopefully that won't be too distracting for anyone watching. Okay. Just trying to get it there. Ready? Okay, let's go. All right. So if anyone watching probably seen this before, I read chronologically. Everyone is different. The way that I myself read tea leaves is chronological. So the rim is, in this case, the beginning of July. The sides are as the month progresses. The base is more of the distant future. So it's now on the way in later, beginning of the month, as the month progresses, end of the month, heading into August. Oh, that's crazy to say. How fast this year is going by so fast. Insane. Okay. Let's look at the beginning. Let's begin at the beginning. Look at the rim. Okay. Looks like the month begins with one main event or situation where things are calm and clear and quiet, and we're happy with that, and or we want things to get moving. Now that's in one scenario. However, aside from that, that's actually in for two scenarios that are of a fair amount of significance. And aside from that, there's just general busyness everywhere. General busyness. So in other words, a lot of smaller things happening and taking place. Now, one of the events or situations that's sort of fairly significant, that leads to, however you want to describe it, the main event or situation. Now, whenever I do tea leaf reading, often there is a main event or situation. That's what I just call it. That's, in this case, that's this section here. So it precedes that, leads to that. Okay. So whatever this event or scenario is, it looks like it begins, again, as a result of like what's happening pretty much right now. However, there's a bit of lag time. This may take place like a day or two into the month, approximately. So there's a bit of time before everything takes place. That said, there's one section of this whole event that does begin sooner than all of that. So say the whole situation roughly begins on, say, for example, the 3rd. We begin to see things on the 2nd, something to that effect. That smaller part, that involves a small conclusion, nothing too significant. I'm just mentioning that in case it makes sense to anyone watching. It involves some kind of conclusion, nothing huge. But there is a conclusion, likely involves a helpful individual. Let's bring it up a bit more. Now, that may actually involve, because tea leaf reading is an and/or. So I just say everything as much as I can see, as much as I can see, in case something makes sense to more people. Okay, so it looks like it may involve some kind of receiving something positive. Someone may even maybe receiving something that is related to a conclusion of some kind. It's another way that you could say that. This may sound kind of odd, but unconventional in intellect, using your intellect maybe even to think a different way, some significance around that. Also, there's unconventional stability. This is all related rather to some kind of unconventional stability. But again, we are receiving very good things. Specifically, that is also related to some kind of reassurance. Things are going well, not to worry. Things along those lines. So there's reassurance regarding the situation. There's also there's some kind of forward movement that's being indicated. Now, someone may actually have a significance regarding trains. I'm saying that in case it makes sense to someone. There's a little choo-choo train. Don't usually see trains, but there's a little train here. But there is positive movement forward. This is related to everything that I've just said. Again, this may have something to do with the house and her home and her family, something along those lines, and as well as some kind of creative project, new creative venture of some kind, new creative pursuit. That may involve a person, place, or thing, the letter C that's involved. But there are definitely helpful people, from what I'm seeing, entertainment purposes only, but there are helpful people present. One of them is a man. The other one may be a lady. Can't swear to that, but that's what it looks like to me. There is happiness around this. There's a small amount of thinking and talking, a conversation specifically, potentially even that's being had that involves a couple different people. Really is a matter of perception, perspective, glass half full versus glass half empty. But it is positive, and there is a smiley face there. It's good. Okay. Then we're into the bulk of the situation. Overall, I'm sorry if you hear any like background like wheezing, it's because I have asthma and I'm wheezing a little bit. So if you hear me wheezing, that's me. Nothing major, I'm fine. Okay, so most of this whole event or situation is more or less divided into two parts. Half of it is a lot more thinking and talking, things up in the air, conversations and discussions, things like that. The other half is more, we know where we stand, but we don't know where we stand because there's a lot of surprises, a lot of things happening, but we don't know all the details. So I get excited when I see surprises. That to me, that's always shown as leaves very tightly grouped, as you can see there. You can sort of see, oops, half of it's more sparsed out. The other half is tighter, more tightly grouped. That's what I'm referring to. Okay. Okay. So everything that I just mentioned is part of the more conversational side or part of this main eventer situation. And that does go into the end of the month. Now, what's interesting is that the whole conversation part of this whole eventer situation fairly ends fairly much, fairly well ends at the end of the month. The surprises part, knowing where we stand, but we don't, actually leads into the end of the month and heading into August, which is interesting. Okay. Okay, back up to the top and working down again. Definitely happy faces. So situation does begin well. Again, small conclusions, nothing major, but there's just small conclusions. There's a small conclusion that does involve abundance and prosperity, as well as unconditional love, support, loyalty, and commitment. And stability too. Stability. A real sense of something beginning. There's a flower. So there's something that's just starting at the beginning of this event or scenario, and it's good. It's beginning to unfold. You maybe start to see something that's just beginning to start to bud, just about to start to happen. That does involve a small, like a very, very, very minorly perspective, glass half full versus glass half empty sort of thinking. But I say that because there's a bit of a frowny face, but then right beside that, right after that rather, like immediately after is a happy face. So it's me saying perception, perspective. Again, creative ventures, new creative projects. Likely not related to the homeland or family in this from what I'm seeing. Person, place, or thing involved with that with the number 3. There may be a UK connection involved in some way, shape, or form. Just looking here. There's the letters M and J. M and J. Receiving very good things regarding that. Generally speaking, not to sound like a broken record, I keep seeing small happy faces throughout this entire first part of this whole scenario. So actually going down further, yeah. Generally speaking, there's a lot of happy faces throughout this month. So it looks like situations continue where happy, 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 happy. Happiness throughout, especially in regards to this conversational side. Again, there's reassurance and new creative projects, starting new things, creative ventures, creative projects, creating new things. That repeats. I keep seeing that. So that would continue throughout the month, I would say. There's also a letter S and or 5 that's involved. That also involves a small conclusion of some kind. Again, all the conclusions that I keep seeing, they're not huge. They're very, very tiny. So an example of that could just be like, you finish reading a book. You go on holiday and you come back. Like there's some minor conclusion, but I keep seeing that. So for the month, we may see small conclusion. Okay, I finished that, finished that, finished that, finished that. In regards to this letter S, or number 5. It's a conclusion, but there's also a new thought, something that's being contemplated. So it's like thinking of something that's ready to be, something's being thought about, something's almost ready to conclude. It's that kind of situation. I'm not a numerologist. I'm not an astrologer. 5 for me means change, but that's just my own association with 5. Someone else watching this may have another association with the number 5.
It's
Excuse
interesting
me,
you
sorry.
see 5 because 5 in numerology, a lot of people fear that number, but I actually
I
see
don't.
it almost like the Tower card in tarot, where it's actually going to bring change. And
Yes.
that can be really good. And so what you said before that, it kind of seemed that's interesting. So anyway,
Mm,
sorry. Go ahead, girl.
no,
Sorry.
no, no, it's okay. No, it's okay. Thank you. That's also related in some way to a partnership, some kind of small partnership that's beginning to form at this point in time, at that point in time. And this is all preceded too by a lot of loving, unconditional love, support, loyalty, and commitment. There's a little dog having a little stretch, like a literally downward dog stretch. So there's some kind of unconditional love and joy and commitment and love that's present. A very good harmonious situation at the beginning of this whole event. And yeah, there's definitely abundance at the beginning of the month. There's a new idea that's being contemplated. You may feel a little bit like, this is not interesting, kind of haughty, cheeky emotion at the beginning of the month. And that's related to a new idea that's being thought about. But that also, again, has a very, very small conclusion. But there's a lot of reassurance, protection, commitment, love, and just reassurance and protection around that whole scenario. So it looks like it's very positive. Trying to determine if I'm looking at something extremely X-rated or if I'm just looking at something that's not. So give me 1 second.
I'm hoping for the X-rated. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, I mean, depending on how you want to look at this, I mean, this could be something that's X-rated, so I will leave it there.
Listen, some viewer right
Ace
now
of
is
Cups.
lucky this month. Let's just put it this way. One of
There may
y'all,
be an ace of, there may be an
one of
ace of
y'all's
small ace
dating
of cups.
app is working. Let's just put it that way.
There may be a small ace of cups moment at the beginning of the month. Letter W is involved. Also, it could very well also be an angel just saying that yes, there's angels around you, protecting you, overlooking a scenario. So take that for what you will. Could go either way. All right. Yes, there's definitely a sense of like being happy and almost like taking a leap of faith and being excited and proud and some kind of new partnership that's beginning to form. There's just so many things happening in this month that I would just say that it's the reminder here to just pace ourselves and just keep ourselves grounded, because from what I'm seeing, like, wow, there's just a lot. We could easily spend a good hour on this alone. So I would just say, again, just a reminder here to pace ourselves. We're going to be having a lot of free time interspersed with all of this busyness in this one event. In addition to that, we do have a lot of free time aside from that, though, for the rest of the month. In addition to additionally to this main event, that we're not going to be pulled into any different directions.
And I'll
So
say
again,
you're at the 15-minute mark, but I'm also going to
perfect.
remind the audience right now with you saying that if this is resonating with you, if you're like, holy shit, she's reading my story, down in the description box below is going to be a link to all of Sarah's contacts. So you can book a private reading with her if you feel like there's something that you want to look deeper into. So anyway, go ahead, girl.
Okay, thank you. Now I'm diverting quickly because again, everything is happening everywhere, but some people watching may have planned a trip this month, and if so, it would likely be happening at the latter half of the month. It's likely one trip. It may have 3 parts to it, but there is one trip that I'm seeing. Okay, I'll rephrase. There's likely one trip. It either has 3 parts to it or there's 3 individual trips, but they're all related in some way, shape, or form. It's more accurate. Okay. Back to this main event. Okay, going down. I'm going to look over here on the left side, which is the side that is more condensed. Things are more up in the things happening, but we don't really know what's happening. Surprises. Yeah. Again, there's a lot of protection, reassurance that's being shown at the start of this month in relation to the things I just talked about with the idea and X-rated contents, but it's also protection and reassurance regarding that whole scenario. That it's a very good scenario. Certainly working with a lot of people, multiple people. Abundance and prosperity is certainly being shown from what I'm seeing. New ideas, new concepts, new ideas being contemplated. That was specifically in relation to the partnership that I mentioned just a minute ago. I keep saying, okay, there's reminders here for reassurance, reminding that we're protected, reminding that things like all will be well. Yes, there's like a phoenix rising there. Yes, like there could be very well someone with a Scorpio connection or someone who is Scorpio or the qualities and inner characteristics of that sign. Someone with the letter, I get threes and E's confused. I see them so often. Number 3 is well involved in some way, shape, or form. But there's this sense of like, yes, like everything is okay, everything is good, you're protected, you're divinely protected. There's reassurance regarding that. Keep saying it. Taking some time out for your own self-care as well, and that's a very good scenario. We're happy with that. That precedes and or is related to, in some way, shape, or form, a scenario of abundance and prosperity. As well as a small new beginning. And again, there's this new sense of creating something new, working on something new, making something new. Creativity, making new things in some way, shape, or form. But certainly this is all has to do, this whole scenario involves working with many people repeatedly throughout the month. As again, new creative projects, working with new things, creativity, whether these are like new children being born or whether this is creative projects, you're making something new. Like creativity and reassurance seem to be 2 themes that I keep seeing. Letter W. There's a letter A, person, place, or thing, like a person actually with the letter A in their name. That involves close communication between the 2 of them. And there may be some form of an Aries or a Taurus connection with that individual, but there's also a very wise individual associated with that whole situation too, that is involved with abundance in some way, shape, or form. Down a bit further here. Yeah, just like unconventional abundance, essentially. Keep seeing like unconventional. Things are different, but it's good. And towards the latter part of the month, in that specific scenario, there's a heart that's forming. So it's a loving scenario, which is like right now it's working itself out, but it's loving scenario. Things are moving quickly. Possible Sagittarius connection, but life, vitality, going for whatever it is that you want to have. Life force, excitement, living life, energy, and momentum. That leads to a new beginning that's being shown. New beginning that involves using your intellect, but also stability and material wealth and gain, and like you're doing well. There's a diamond, so you're doing well financially. It's materially, it's good, it's happy. Going down a bit further. At this point in time, at the end of this scenario, it's the leaves are extraordinarily packed very tightly. So whatever this is, it's actually popping off the side of the cup too. So whatever the situation is, it involves a significant surprise. And this is at the end of the month. If I had to sort of guess timing, I would say maybe like the last week or so of July, thereabouts. And then that is what leads into the end of the month, heading into August. Okay. So just big surprises. In other words, we're not supposed to know what that is right now. But from what I see, it definitely involves working with multiple people. And like repeatedly. There's like a lot of people involved in this whole scenario. The end of the month heading into August looks like the base. Essentially, it looks very busy as well. There's a helpful woman present. And we're going to be able to focus on what we need to focus on, but we're going to be, again, a reminder I would say to pace ourselves. There's just a lot of things taking place. There's a partnership that's being shown. May have the letter R and M in the name, or M and maybe even the letter C, but it's very positive. We're very happy with it. It's just going to be crazy busy from what I'm seeing. So just pace yourselves. Reassurance, going for whatever it is that you want to have. Life force, vitality, action, speed, movement, momentum, unconditional love and support and loyalty and commitment. Working with many people. I know I sound like a broken record, but it's what I keep seeing. Creativity, working with new creative projects. There's definitely, from what I'm seeing too, helpful people around. There's a theme this month and heading into next month. There may be a situation that involves abundance and prosperity specifically in the base, that involves a partnership that is right now forming. It's not clear, but I do see it. I'm going to quickly look at this trip very quickly. It's being shown on the sides. What is involved? There's like 3 trips, but there's also a 4th smaller event or scenario that likely is like a new beginning, something that's being contemplated, a new start, a new opportunity. One of the other trips, one of the other parts has some kind of material wealth gain. Things are going well. Writing documents involved, which makes sense if you're going on a trip, but that's what I'm seeing here. Letter V, person, place, or thing, reassurance regarding that. And again, momentum, forward movement, open communication from what I'm seeing between 2 people. Number 4, take that for what you will. Taking some time out for your own self-care. It looks like it's a good relaxing trip. It's just that one of the trips, one of the parts is quite busy, but it's good. It's good. There's happiness around that, which is good. Again, open communication. Writing of some kind. Should give more details regarding that, but writing, there may be two different things are being signed, 2 different documents, something to that effect, but there's 2 pens, there's 2 forms of writing. Again, the number 5. And this other part of the trip, number 3 is involved in some way, shape, or form. Letter G, open communication. There's someone who is Aries or Taurus, and that involves, looks to be a woman, creating something new, making something new, and forward movement with that. Forward movement. Nothing holding you back. Things are going well. Things are going forward. Nothing is really stagnation. There's no stagnation. Things are going forward very easily. And to end this very quickly, at the beginning of the month, aside from all of this, there was a notable scenario, not huge, but notable, very short term. I would say doesn't last maybe more than a week or 2 at most. But there's a letter J involved, person, place, or thing, abundance and prosperity, receiving good things, something to do with the house and or home, abundance and prosperity, glass half full versus glass half empty, but it's abundant, it's good, receiving good things with this, using your intellect, stability, 2 small conclusions, and a partnership that's being formed. Documents, some kind of paperwork of some kind. Now, whether that's school or whatever the situation is, but there's paperwork. There may be a Scorpio connection potentially involved, and it looks good. It's positive, but there's definitely a stability from what I'm seeing. Stability. Yeah. And it's a new idea. Something new is being contemplated, and it's positive. But again, it doesn't last for too long, but it is significant in and of itself. And that's the tea leaf reading for July. It looks to be insane. Common themes throughout.
That was wild. I actually took notes because I don't know if you saw me like taking notes.
No, I was like,
yeah, no, that's wild. And guys, I'm going to reiterate before I forget, because I meant to do this at the beginning of the episode. So once again, you guys, this is Sarah's channel. With all of her videos and all of her website, which I'll put this all in the description box to you guys. But yeah, if seriously, like if there was something in there where you're like, oh shit, she's reading my story, reach out to her. Because you do like 30-minute readings, hour readings. You're also a psychic medium. So sometimes people's deceased loved ones will pop in. But with that being said, last time we filmed, Sarah, we had 2 people that I offered from on Esoteric Atlanta for 2 of our awesome subscribers to get a 30-minute reading on us with Sarah. And I pulled 2 names. And so you've got to reach out to Sarah to book your appointment. Once you reach out to Sarah, she will reach out to me and we will get you all squared away. So the 2 people that have won a 30-minute reading with Sarah are Kim Cronin 8340. So that's KIMCRONIN 8340. So Kim Cronin, you have to reach out to Sarah.
Yay.
Dragonfly, I was 1977, and I was saying Dragonfly has been on this channel for a long time. She's such a cool supporter. So Dragonfly,
amazing.
You gotta reach out. Now, Sarah, what's your email address? Is it on your website, or how do people get in touch with you?
Easiest way is to email me, and that's Sarah, SARAH, at Sarah with an H Adamson, ADAMSON.com. It forwards to my Hotmail, but that's the easiest way to say it. So Sarah at Sarah-Adamson.com.
And that's the email address that I have for you, right? Correct? So I can just put that in the description box too. So for the winners, please reach out to Sarah to schedule, and then we'll take care of everything for you. And yeah. So Sarah, I know I have to hop off in a second, but is there any last words you want to, last words? That sounded very gruesome. What are your last words? No.
Last words. Last thoughts for July. Interesting. Well, based on what I'm seeing, I would say pace ourselves, stay grounded, take walks. What we were saying before, what you were saying, take walks in nature, stay grounded, open-minded. Remember to just pace yourself and just enjoy what's coming up.
I mean, that sounded like an awesome reading to me. And I will reiterate again, you guys, change is a part of life. That's part of humaning, is change. And so the fact that 5 came up twice, like, don't be afraid of those tower moments. Right when they happen, they might be uncomfortable or sad, but they always, like, if I look back at my life and every like tower moment I've had, or every 5 moment I've had, in the moment it was painful, but right now at 40, I can look back and be grateful for all those moments, because it pushed me into new and better situations that I would frankly have never gone on if it wasn't for the universe coming in and like pushing that domino over. So just breathe. Exercise is good for stress. You got this. This is why you came to Earth. You came to Earth to human, and this is part of humaning. And it sounded exciting. It sounded so exciting for whoever, and I can't wait. Like, let us know in the comment section below if you want to. You don't have to. If any of this resonated with you, because I can't wait to see whose story this was, and to see what happens. And again, if you want more clarity, if you're like, shit, and just because, and I want to clarify too before we sign off, because I know I watch a lot of like divination as well for when they do general readings. If some of the stuff resonated, but some of it doesn't, that's okay. Like, I just want to make that clear. It's supposed to be, because she's doing a general collective reading. So a bunch of spirit guides are coming in here arranging these leaves. So some of the information might be for someone else. some of it for you. So don't feel like just because everything matched up but one thing that it's not for you. No, no, no. It can be. So I want to make that very
Yeah.
clear.
Thank you for saying that. Absolutely. And so I think it's also so important to not try and force things into, this is a general comment anyway, not to try and force things into a reading,
Right.
trying to make not something to apply to it. No, this is again to what you said, very much a general entertainment purposes only. Take what you will, leave what you don't. It's not supposed to be accurate for everyone every single time. It won't be. It's not
Yeah,
meant to
right.
be.
So yeah,
Take
if
what you
you
will,
watched
leave what
this
you
and there
don't.
was nothing in there, check
That's
back.
okay.
Check back. You know, there's 7 billion people on the planet. Like sometimes when I listen to general readings and nothing resonates, I'm like, that's okay.
That's okay.
My guides, no news sometimes is good news. So maybe my guides are like, yeah, she's gonna rest this month. So it's totally.
You don't need to hear anything right now. And sometimes that's good to know. I mean, one time I did a reading for myself years ago and I was practicing and like literally nothing was in the cup. I'm like, that's okay. Obviously I'm not supposed to know anything right now, and that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, you guys. Well, once again, I want to wish a very happy Canada Day to all of our Canadian family, our Canadian brothers and sisters up there fighting the good fight. And also happy 4th of July to all of the Americans. It's balls hot outside. I mean, we are sweating like whores in church down here in the South. So make sure you it's that gross time of year where your boobs start sweating and everything's just like sloppy. So
It's actually kind of cool up here. We'll send some of the cooler there. It's for June. It's kind of cool today. So I don't mind. I enjoy it.
I mean, down here in the deep south, it's you step outside and you're like, oh fuck, like you hear it sizzling, like you just hear the heat. So it's like, which again, not to get off topic, but that was always when I was a little kid. That was always my like weird suspicion that maybe history wasn't accurate because how the hell were those people bopping around in big hoop skirts in this fucking heat? Okay, am I right, people from the South? Like we're practically naked down here because it's too damn hot otherwise. So with that being said, make sure you're drinking enough water and cooling off. God, thank you, Lord God, for modern air conditioning.
Yes.
But enjoy the longer days, and you know a lot of people go to the lake and go to the beach for the 4th of July. Be safe and have so much fun, so much fun for our Canadians. Enjoy your tundra. No, I'm just kidding. Your cold tundra. That's when I think of Canada. That is literally what comes to my mind.
I mean, like usually we're in southwestern Ontario. We've had days where it goes up to 90. Oh, so I can hear you. I can hear you.
That was weird. It just like cut out.
I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
There.
Oh, that was an echo on my end. Whoa. Can you hear me okay?
Whoever is messing with our Zoom, you got to get out. You got to be.
No,
I
know. Do not consent to you.
Knows right now, but you got to get out. So, no, I think of Canada. I just think of snow. I just think of snow and like down jackets.
In the winter. Yeah, in the winter. I mean, here in southwestern Ontario, I can only speak for that because that's where I live, but it can be hot. I mean, summers can go up to 90, 100 Fahrenheit sometimes. It can get kind of hot. I'm not comparing, obviously not as hot as Georgia, but
listen, I don't.
Kind of hot.
I mean, I used to go snow skiing as a kid for spring break, but I didn't own a pair of gloves as an adult until last year.
Yeah.
So.
I think I went through like 5 pairs of gloves this past winter alone.
That is wild. Like
the big like waterproof ones. I had to go find I'd have to go through like 2 or 3 gloves to get the right ones. Like they're massive things, waterproof and snowproof and windproof.
If I married someone who lived up in the snowy climates, I'd be fucked.
Snowy
this winter, I'd be fucked. I don't know how to shovel snow. I don't know anything about snow. Like, you know, and Gal's she's like, I don't know nothing about birthing no babies, Miss Scarlett. I don't know nothing about no snow, you guys. Like, I don't know what I was listening to a comedian once from Miami talking about moving to Colorado. He's from Miami and he had to move to Colorado. And he was like, he walked outside and he was like, what is this cocaine falling from the skies?
Yeah, you have to wear sort of, depending on where you're going, snow pants.
What,
nice
what is
jacket.
that? What's this? I don't know what
What is this?
that. What
It's
is
cold.
snow pants? Like I've worn skiing pants before, but like what's a snow pant? I don't. We wear jeans in the winter. I don't know. Like this is
Huh.
cracks me up. One day, guys, we'll film. I'll go visit Sarah in the winter, and we'll film.
And I just laughed. Go and visit Southwestern Ontario. Our winters are fairly temperate, though. We don't get a lot of extremes. I mean, to get at extremes, I mean, my gosh. Sorry, there's a siren going by. Sorry about that. Breathe, be good. Okay, sorry. I mean, it's nothing to the East Coast. The East Coast just gets, they get a lot of snow. Like on the eastern seaboard of Canada, they get a lot. Quebec, anywhere sort of east of here, they get a lot. But I mean, the prairies do. Where we are, we're sort of more temperate. We get more of a milder winter, a milder summer. We have more of a milder climate anyway. But sort of once you go looking north, then yeah,
I mean, listen.
there's a
Anytime,
lot.
if you want to shut down the state of Georgia, you just say that there might be a chance of flurries, which never happens. And at that point, if there is a slight chance that the winter that the temperature might just drop enough for there to be flurries, the Piggly Wiggly sells out of bread and water and milk, and everyone's at church praying because they think the apocalypse is upon us. That is how Southerners react to the possibility. It's just okay, so one winter, a couple of years back, and then I gotta jump off in a second, but a couple of years back, we had the weather it got pretty cold. No snow, not cold enough to snow, but cold for us. And so businesses closed down. They just
Really?
decided because it was too cold.
May I ask what the temperature was?
Probably in the 40s, maybe Fahrenheit. So not freezing is 32 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, it's cool, but
Yeah, they were
I
like,
mean,
it's so the
I'll just
news
wear
is
a
like,
jacket.
we're just gonna close down because it's too cold. Nobody has fucking gloves. No one's got snow pants out here. So
But, that's the thing. It's different for everyone. Up here, we'd be like, oh, it's just another spring day. It's fine.
they're gonna close the city. We get that sometimes too in the summertime. They'll close down because it's too hot. And now
Right.
they do that when they close down because it's too hot. That's when it's freaking like do not stand on pavement. Because
Yeah.
that's when it's real bad because we can usually take the heat. It's just
Yeah.
this. It's just
Well, it's the same here. Sometimes if it's like really hot or really cold, then yes. Sometimes, occasionally, then everything will close down. Like you won't see anything anywhere. Or if it's really extreme weather, like if it's really like a blizzard or something that we had back in December, 4-day blizzard, which was very extremely rare, things were closed. Things are closed, but the plows were out. You stay in. It's
I
fine.
mean, listen, that would be hysterical. I'm going to come up there in the winter, in the dead of winter. I'm going to visit you guys. And
Come and visit.
I don't know how to show no driveway. I don't know
Oh,
how
it'll
to,
be fine. I can
I
show
don't know
you. It's
how to
okay.
get the
It's
shit
easy.
off the windshield. Like, I would be screaming.
Oh, that's fun.
Like, if I were to be married to somebody up in the winter states, the winter world, my southern ass would be like, what is this cocaine falling from the sky?
Well, if your vehicle's iced over with snow, you go out, you turn the car on, make sure don't lock the car. You get you get your brush out, then you brush all the snow off, and then you go and you take the ice off the windshield. You don't go down on it because then you can crack. You don't go down on the paint because you don't want to chip the paint. You have to go sideways. It's fine, and then you throw the defrost on, and in a few minutes. It's fine. I have not been out to the eastern coast of Canada, and we should go there in like December. It'd be fantastic.
I'm gonna be like, again, why is there cocaine all over the ground?
Like, yeah,
It's
that'd be
real
awesome.
fun, you guys. It's real fun.
Is this
Fall out of the
no? Oh, the fun times, the lives that we lead.
Yeah, you guys. I mean, if you guys have any funny stories, I always love funny stories. I love a sense of humor. So tell me your funny stories. Do we have any Southerners out there that got married to some Northerner or ended up being placed in the North for their job? Let me hear your stories because I lived in London, England for a while. But the thing about London is that when it snows, because it's such a big city, it hits the pavement and melts. So it was perfect for
Yeah.
me.
So
I was like,
yeah.
this is great. I just
This
like
is great.
normal, but a little colder, and that's it.
Yeah.
Of course, I lived in LA for forever, and LA is like the same all the time. So, in LA, they don't know how to drive in the rain though. They don't get a lot of rain.
Oh,
That
really?
they don't know how to drive in the rain. They don't know how to drive in
Really
the rain. Yeah. So
interesting.
that's very different. But let us know your funny stories, guys. And also for those two ladies who won, make sure you contact
Yes.
Sarah.
Congratulations.
I cannot wait to, and I just can't wait to see how that goes, you
Uh,
guys. So, and yeah, make sure
this
you
is
get
exciting.
subscribe, you guys, and we'll have you back
Thank
on real
you.
soon. All right, everybody.
We love you.
Love you guys. Bye, everybody.
Bye.